It is my great pleasure to introduce
Vice President Kamala Harris sat down with Virginia state legislators on Saturday.
And so, Madam Vice President, I again welcome you to the 4th Congressional District
to discuss the fight for reproductive rights on both the local and national front.
We are so glad to have the Vice President here to listen to not only what we're doing here in Virginia, so that we can hear what she and Vice President Biden are doing to help protect access to reproductive health care.
The visit to Virginia comes weeks after the Supreme Court's decision to overturn the landmark case Roe v. Wade.
Only weeks ago, the United States Supreme Court took a constitutional right that had been recognized from the American people. Took a right from the American people, in particular the women of America.
A sentiment she and other legislators concurred with personal stories.
As a child, I was victimized by sexual assault and incest. I cannot even begin to imagine what would have happened if I had been forced to have a child at an early age.
I am one generation out of the sharecropping fields of Virginia and part of the first generation of women in my family to make decisions for my body.
Words of criticism against Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin also crossed the room.
I've read, says he will, quote, gleefully sign a law to take away reproductive rights. So I would also like to be clear that I'm fully aware of the context in which we meet in terms of what this will mean to the people of Virginia and what is at stake directly.
And in response to the topic of the vice president's visit, Governor Youngkin's spokesperson responded with this comment. Governor Youngkin has tasked 4 legislators to bring together key stakeholders and find areas where Virginians can agree and chart the most successful path forward. The governor welcomes discussions and bipartisan collaboration, making it known that he would support a 15-week proposal. And while the governor appreciates the vice president's visit, he will continue to engage with Virginians and legislators on this important matter. End quote. A topic Republican State Senator Amanda Chase feels Vice President Harris should leave up to states to make a decision on.
She's got plenty to do between now and January, and I invite her to talk about those issues that are most important to Virginians right now, and that's inflation.
And in regard to changing filibuster rules in the Senate to ensure certain abortion rights.
You don't want to do away with it, you don't want to do away with it. But the least we can do is say that the filibuster shall not apply when we're talking about a person's civil rights.
Our President Joe Biden has been very clear that he will not let the filibuster stand in the way on the issue of the women's health.
The vice president left legislators with this message.
You don't have to abandon your faith or your beliefs to agree that the government should not be making that decision for that woman.
Now, abortion remains legal in Virginia, and the next opportunity to change that wouldn't be until the next Virginia General Assembly session in January of 2023. Working for you in Richmond, I'm Joy Foltz, CBS 6 News.